Module 3, Part 2, what the human experience of work is and what it is not. UX, CX, and HX have a fairly well-defined pathway or playbook with certain tools and methods. These are the basic steps. First of all, we form what we call a product team of 5 to 7 people of everyone who touches a particular journey or experience. This product team is typically from all the different functions who touch a particular experience, not just HR. We start with research in the first phase, looking at both existing and new data to uncover what drives behaviors and the problem that people are trying to solve. We want to know all we can about current behaviors, motivators, preferences, use patterns, and any differences. We segment users into personas to understand those different patterns and behaviors. Then in the second phase, we map the journey or experience that people follow. We want to understand context. What was the situation that brought them to a particular need? What were their pain points? What were the problems they were trying to solve? And what were their moments that matter? This gives us priority on where to focus our solutions. In the third phase, we ideate new solutions. Our goal is to create wow moments that matter and create or build a prototype experience that we can test, just like a new product. So if we look at the 3 main pillars, these are what the Human Experience Playbook and Toolkit is built upon. UX and CX are also built on these. The first is human-centered design. This encompasses the disciplines of design thinking, user experience, service design, and systems thinking. We'll talk about more on these in the next module. The goal of human-centered design is for us to take the perspective of the end user and make sure that we're identifying the right problems. The second pillar is analytics. We use analytics in everything we do. And this helps us also in our research and building new experiences around human-centered design. We can look at patterns. We can look at in the prioritization and the measurement of touch points or moments that matter. We can get important feedback that helps us to get understanding of these. And we use the metrics also as we set up and design new experiences to measure those touch points or interactions and the success that we have with those moments that matter. Our goal with analytics is to discover the insights, why people do what they do, to segment users, and as I said, to rate experiences and identify moments that matter. The third pillar is around agile ways of working. And as we've mentioned, we work in agile product teams. An example of this is an onboarding product team. So if you picture somebody that's coming in their first day or first week of work, they have a desk, they have a physical workspace. So you might have somebody from facilities representing that function in the product team. If people are receiving a laptop or some kind of tech that helps them support them in their job, then you can have somebody from the IT team representing on the product team. You might have somebody from talent acquisition. And if your company is using websites to communicate with people and for them to find information, then you might have someone from digital represented in the product team as well. The goal of the product team is to listen and work together to end users in the research phase and to ideate and prototype new solutions with end users. These are the 3 pillars that we use. Again, human-centered design, analytics, and agile ways of working. So how do UX, CX, and HX methods make a difference? They help us do 5 important things. First, clearly define and identify the problems people are trying to solve. Secondly, take the user perspective and understand the context for those problems and how it feels, the emotions, pains, and gains. Emotions are an important part of what we do and in our experience because our emotional center in our brain helps us evaluate experiences and assign a priority to those. Number 3, HX, CX, and UX methods help us prioritize where to focus. So we put our resources in the right place. Number 4, with prototyping and testing, we can ensure the success of our new solutions. Number 5, these methods help us develop metrics for our solutions based on our research. I'm often asked to talk about the relationship between engagement and experience. Experience data shows the quality of interactions an employee has with the company and how well their experiences help them solve their most important problems. This leads to engagement scores. Engagement does not look at quality of interactions, but it looks at the result of all the experiences, and out of those experiences, the level of commitment that an employee feels towards the company and how well they resonate with our values and our leadership. We also this high degree of engagement or low degree impacts the customer experience that people have. Engaged employees tend to provide customers with stronger experiences that drive higher levels of satisfaction and commitment. Let's talk about how engagement and experience work together. Engagement can give us a very good high-level view of where we need to dig deeper, where we need to understand. Engagement, however, does not give us the answer to what is going on for people. That's what experience research does. It gives us the tools and the methodologies that we need to dig a little deeper. An example of that is a story from one of our coaches has from ING. She was responsible for engagement for the company. And she says that our assumption from their engagement scores was we needed to provide managers with more tools and talking points about development. But when they interviewed people, they found it wasn't the manager, but rather the lack of development opportunities that was their biggest challenge. But they only found this out by doing HX type research. So let's give you an example of that. An engagement question might be, in the last 6 months, someone talked to me about my progress. Strongly agree, disagree, etc. Or in the last year, I've had opportunities to work at work to learn and grow. Again, strongly agree, disagree, etc. Whereas sample experience questions go like this. Tell me about a time when your manager talked to you about development. What was going on for you at the time? What was the goal or outcome you wanted to achieve? What was most challenging for you in looking for development opportunities? Where have you turned to for support and information on development needs and opportunities? What has been most useful? Who has helped you the most? Out of your entire experience, what was the moment that mattered the most? And why was that so important? If we look at these questions, what do you notice about the differences between them? Which types of questions are more specific? Which one gives us more insight on context? What brought people to a situation where development felt like a need? Which type of question helps you understand more about the goal or the outcome they sought for? Which question, engagement, or experience helps you understand how they sought help and support and what was most useful? Which one helps you prioritize particular interactions and understand why they were important? And which type of question, engagement or experience, helps you know which problems to solve and create specific, actionable solutions? Again, if we look at engagement questions, they tell us where we have a gap, where we have a need. These questions give us much more specific information that can be actionable. So, a quick summary about what HX is and what it is not. HX is built on the same principles and methods as UX and CX, which are human-centered design, analytics, and agile ways of working. HX is extremely data-driven. It's always finding the problems before we get into solutions, and which will help us eventually to have more competitive advantage. It's more than HR processes and employee life cycle. HX is about all the interactions with work. It's centered on moments that matter, emotions, and how it feels to work here. And HX is focused on us as human beings and the context in which we do our best work. Human experience of work is not about giving employees everything they want, but rather understanding what they need. Number two, it's not the same as engagement, although they are related. Great HX leads to stronger engagement. Number three, HX is not a new fad from HR. It's the third wave of new economic value after UX and CX. It's not limited to design thinking alone. It extends to all human-centered design as well as analytics and agile ways of working. It's not about expensive or perfect solutions, but about targeting specific moment that matter interactions and quickly developing new prototype products. Three more. HX is not a rebranding of engagement. It helps us understand what drives engagement. It's a cause, not a symptom. HX is not about HR people sitting in a room imagining the experience of their colleagues. It's getting out there and doing the hard work of research and listening firsthand to people's context, their pain points, their problems, etc. And in HX, we never use benchmarks. It's not about what works everywhere, but about what works here. Again, it's about gathering our own data and understanding what makes us work at our best. We cannot build competitive advantage by making ourselves like everyone else. Next up, Module 4, how big is HX? How many people are doing HX today?